Wow, I haven't gotten a welcome like this ever. Thank you. Good morning. Good Creative Mornings, everyone. Hello to all of you here in the space, IRL with us, and also hello to everyone on the live stream. I'm Tina Roth-Eisenberg. I'm the founder of Creative Mornings and your New York City chapter host. I'm welcoming you today on the ancestral land of the Lenape people, and we, HQ, want to recognize the significance of Brooklyn and New York City for Lenape people, past and present. What an absolute joy to be here at L'Alliance, New York. Thank you, Violaine, Clementine, Louise, Nicolas, and all of the many AV people that are back there and back here. I want to take them with me in my pocket because this is a dream come true. And in case you're wondering, what was that? Vive la France. Vraiment. So in case you're wondering where you are at L'Alliance, New York, which is the home of Francophone cultures and French language. Fun fact, the main entrance is actually on 60th Street, which you see here. L'Alliance is a highly respected educational, cultural, and art institution where people from all over the world connect through immersive French language classes and world-class cultural programming. And I actually want to point one upcoming program out. It starts in late September. The Crossing Line Festival runs for 4 months and captures the expansive interconnectedness of the Francophone world through visual art, discussion, film, and live performances. So I urge you to have a look at the festival's calendar. It's an impressive lineup. And the team here at L'Alliance invites you to the opening night, which is going to be on Friday, September 27th. The festival will start with a show by the seminal choreographer Jōmon. So mark your calendars, it will be an exceptional opening night, and I just want to say thank you, L'Alliance, for hosting us today, and in September, and in November. We love you. Okay, by a raise of hands, who is here for the first time? Oh, so many of you. I will hug you all afterwards. So for those of you who are here for the first time, you might not understand what these dots mean, but these dots actually represent a Creative Mornings chapter all over the world, and each one run by a team of volunteers to gather their local creative community. And in order for us to shine a light on our values and to remember why we do what we do here at Creative Mornings, we have a member of our community read our manifesto at each event. And today's manifesto reader is Najari Riley. She's a multidisciplinary researcher, designer, strategist, and an overall charming human. Please give Najari a warm round of applause.
Good morning, Creative Mornings. Everyone is creative. A creative life requires bravery and action, honesty, and hard work. We are here to support you, celebrate with you, and encourage you to make the things that you love. We believe in the power of community. We believe in giving a damn. We believe in face-to-face connections, in learning from others, in hugs and high fives. We bring together people who are driven by passion and purpose, confident that they will inspire one another and inspire change in neighborhoods and cities around the world. Everyone is welcome. Thank you.
30-second pitches. Who of you was brave enough to put their name in the wheel? I heard many of you. I see some arms going up. Exa is going to tell us who the 4 lucky ones are to get the mic for 30 seconds after Geetika's talk.
All right, we have Jillian Lenzer, Katie, who's doing a pitch about an arts building, Kyle Myers, and India, who's doing community lunches. So.
All right, so the 4 of you, be ready after Geetika's talk to come up on stage for 30 seconds. All right, by show of hands, who was here at the last event of our first ever poetry open mic? I see a few hands go up. My team and I felt a bit like this dog leading up to that open mic because it was a complete trust fall and a complete experiment. But because you had to sign up as you walked in the morning off, And other than my daughter, who is a poetry nerd and who I knew is going to be the first one on that sheet, I did not know if we were going to have any other people wanting to read a poem that they wrote. But you know what? This is just one of the sheets. Like, we had so many people that we had too many poets. What community has too many poets, people? So my heart nearly exploded. The open mic was a success, and it was a testament to all of you wonderful humans within our community and the way you keep showing up and are willing to experiment with us. And we love, love, love putting a spotlight on you. And that's why on August 2nd, we are bringing back the beloved 3rd edition of New York is a Creative. And the concept is simple. About 20 of you will get 90 seconds and 1 slide to tell us about a creative project you're proud of. It can be a quirky creative hobby, an EP in progress, an art series, a personal blog, whatever it is, we're excited to hear about it. But please note, this is not a space for commercial pitches. The focus of the showcase is on the creative process, the joy in expression, and how those projects make you feel. So if you feel called to present whatever it is you're working on, look for the submission form in our follow-up email and mark August 2nd in your calendars. Are you glad we welcomed you with coffee when you got here this morning? Yeah, me too. Thanks to our partners, we are able to keep our Creative Mornings events free and just make this engine of generosity happen. So please allow me to thank them. First off, our beloved MPB. Who here has photo gear sitting in a drawer that you might not be using or is dreaming of upgrading something? Yeah, a few of you. MPB makes it really easy and worth to give your unused gear a new life, and they care deeply about visual storytelling in a way that's good for people and the planet. They recirculate more than 500,000 items of camera gear each year, which I find unbelievably impressive. And as I was preparing for the slide today, I went on their site and looked at some of the most recent gear, and then I kind of spent way too much time on this Leica, which I fell in love with a little bit. So thank you, MPB, for supporting us. And then I also would like to thank our New York City chapter partner, Harvest, who is the force behind a beautiful experiential mini site called Time in This Time. Harvest invited 9 artists and creators whose practices include time-based works to make works on time in this time, and to shine a little light on and help us make a sense of time in general. It's a beautiful collection of thought pieces, experience generators, and even a comic. I personally, I'm going to date myself here, I personally miss online gardens like this one. Does anyone remember the early web when it was fun and a big playground? And I think this is a testament to that. And if you think about time in your day-to-day, if you need a simple and beautiful way to track and manage your time, expenses, and invoices, check out getharvest.com. It's an excellent tool for independent creatives and small businesses, and run by wonderfully generous and warm humans. So thank you, Team Harvest. Okay, I have one more exciting thing. One more. By now, you might have heard me talk about the brand new thing we're doing here at Creative Mornings HQ, and we're piloting in the New York City chapter, hoping to roll out globally within the next year. We call it Creative Mornings Clubs. Clubs are community-led, hyper-local, intimate gatherings around something you love. Since the launch of our pilot in April, we have accepted 10 unique clubs out of 32 applications. We have hosted 22 clubs and have had a total of 385 signups and a total of 250 attendees. You are, yet again, all showing up. And if you wonder what they look like, this is the Comics Club, this is the Sun Your Buns Picnic Club, and this is Photo Walks, aka Photographer Pals, run by our very own Nelson, who is taking photos right now, who is a stellar host. And he even created an Instagram account for it. It's like one of my favorite things to check on Instagram now, and we love this so much. Honestly, our pilot has been such a success that we now have over 100 people who are waitlisted. The interest is strong, and the wait lists are long. So clubs are very small gatherings, and they're pretty much like a dinner party. If you don't show up, your empty seat will be noticed. So this made us realize that a lot of you don't know that you can actually release a ticket when you register for a Creative Mornings event. On the event page, be it a regular event like this, or clubs, or field trips, you can next to registered, it says release your ticket. When you give up your ticket, somebody on the wait list gets the gift of getting to go. So I'm just appealing to all of you, please release your tickets if you know you can't go. And clubs are amazing. Go to a club, start a club, and if you're wondering what clubs are currently happening, go to the Creative Mornings landing page, chapter page, and for now, until we have an actual landing page in the blog area, you can see what's happening in clubs. All right, now to the main event. This month's theme in the global Creative Mornings universe is trust. It was chosen by our Islamabad chapter and illustrated by Ibrahim Nazir. And I am so very happy to introduce today's speaker, Geetika Agrawal, an Indian-born designer and the founder and CEO of an absolutely wonderful website and service called Vacation with an Artist, also referenced as VAWAA. I love VAWAA so much. It offers mini-apprenticeships with master artists and craftspeople all over the world. Geetika believes that craft is essential for feeling alive and connected. And before launching VAWAA, Geetika spent 13 years designing products and experiences for leading brands. She served as the creative director at RGA, designed an IRL adventure game at Disney, and taught interaction design at the School of Visual Arts. And just like me, and many of you here in this room, Geetika is a stubborn optimist, firmly believing in the abundance of good in the world, a belief that she instills in her work and those around her. Give her a rock star round of applause for Geetika, please.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. So good to see you all here this morning. This has been kind of cosmic because Creative Mornings has been a staple in my life for many years. I've attended many Creative Mornings all around the world during my travels and met some incredible people in the community. Some you might see in my pictures today. And so it's really, really special to be here. Today, I want to start with a story. I was on my annual vacation to Goa. It's my favorite place in the world. And the people, the warm waters, the lush greenery, the slow vibes, it just casts a magical spell on you. And it was my last day there. I was having lunch at one of my friend's cafe, and a stranger joined me on the table. We exchanged a few pleasantries and, did the small talk, things that you do when you travel. And just when I was about to leave, he said he wanted to take me to a secret spot and show me something extraordinary. He would put a blindfold on me and drive me there. It sounded like something I shouldn't miss because it was extraordinary, but a blindfold, and I didn't know him. And I had a flight to catch in a couple of hours. I said yes. I sat in the car and we started driving. I had the blindfold on. And I'm trying to just feel all the potholes and remember the turns that the car's making left and right and just in case I need to trace my way back. And I could sense we're driving on a narrow road with trees, and I can smell the paddy fields through the windows, and I can hear the sound of a temple far away. And after driving for a bit, he stopped the car. He got out from his side of the car, came to my side of the car, opened the door, held my hand, and I stepped down. And I stepped out. I still have the blindfold on. I stepped out, and I feel kind of a loose soil underneath my feet. We kept walking. He's holding my hand. There was a step. Stood on the step, walked. I could hear the birds chirping, smell the fresh air. And after some time, we stopped, and he took off the blindfold. And I was standing inside and under the tallest, the biggest, the most magnificent tree I had ever seen in my life. It was like a scene from the movie Avatar with a 360-degree tree canopy with rays of the sun filtering through. There was incense burning under the tree. According to him, this tree could have been 3,000 years old. And, maybe that's why the locals worship this tree. I was just standing there, just in awe, just so alive. I was just so powerful. Now I know what you're all thinking. Geetika, you crazy. This could have been dangerous. How could you trust a stranger? I know you've watched enough episodes of Law and Order and Breaking Bad, and the worst possibilities are imprinted on our minds. But here's the thing. Yes, things could have gone wrong, and I'm not advocating for blind trust. But we're living in a world of fear. And right now, it's even worse than it's been before. There's a lot more uncertainty in the world. There's political divisiveness. Technology is changing too fast. AI is taking our jobs, and so on. We've lost trust in ourselves, in others, and the world. But the most amazing things that have happened to me have been a result of trust. When I trusted myself, others, and in the possibility. We need to shift from fear to trust. So how do we do that? Instead of leaning back into fear, we lean into trust. We start and learn to build trust in our own bodies first, and then others and in the world. And that's when we can learn to have the confidence to go out in the world. We need to engage more with our bodies and our hands. We need to get away from our screens and make things. We need to fuel our imagination and develop our instincts. It's the most powerful technology we have that we can trust. We need to engage with others. We need to have more conversations, do things together. Because when we take the time to understand others, we understand our place in the world and our own belief system. It reminds us of our shared humanity. And this understanding breeds confidence and helps us build more trust. And then this trust gives us the courage to pursue our ideas and purpose boldly. This is what drives me. And as a designer, I want to create a world where we all flourish as creative and connected humans, because that is our true nature. So I want to share a couple of my projects. This is back in the day when I first moved from India to Los Angeles to go to grad school at Art Center College of Design. I was just so happy to be surrounded by students from all around the world. And one of the things that would happen often in our conversations is we would realize that we were doing these little gestures that meant different things in different cultures. For example, the OK sign meant different to our friends in France. It means it's kind of worthless, it has zero value. Or to our friends in Japan, it meant a sign to show me the money. Or friends in Brazil, F off. We realized that people around the world use small gestures every day. These are quick, part of our daily communication that, if misunderstood, can create gaps in our understanding. So it was post 9/11. Cultural intolerance was quite low. So for my master's thesis project, I designed an interactive kiosk for the airports. And in this kiosk, there were all these little gestures floating by, and you could click on a gesture, and then it would play videos of people from different cultures doing the same gesture. It was such a playful experience because strangers waiting at the airport would come together, start interacting, start talking about, like, this is what it means in my culture, and it just created such a great moment of sharing and exchange. and just help build that trust as you were flying to another country. Another project I want to share is Food for Thought. It's a project I started with a friend in 2015 when I took a 1-year sabbatical from my job at RGA to travel to 12 countries across Europe, Asia, and South America. And we were going to spend 1 month in each country. This is the year I started my business, VAWAA, which I'll talk about next. But this was a fun project I wanted to do on the side. The idea of Food for Thought was very simple. It was a traveling dinner series created by travelers, but for locals. So, which meant we would cook a 5-course dinner and invite strangers to join in. And these strangers were locals. So we started off with our first dinner in Prague. We created a 5-course Indian dinner, because that's what I know how to cook best. And we put flyers up in the city. Random strangers showed up, including actually a couple of people from Creative Mornings that we met in Prague a week before. And we had the best conversation. We'd shared childhood stories, our love stories, and they were really, really thankful and grateful for the home-cooked meal these 2 Indian travelers cooked for them. And we loved the welcome we received. So we went around, and in every country, we hosted this dinner. We cooked Indian dinner in Turkey, in Uruguay, in Japan. And then some of the other travelers joined in who also wanted to cook for locals. So we had a Portuguese friend who cooked Portuguese food in Malaysia. We cooked a big Christmas feast, which was German, in Vietnam, or Korean food in Chile. So we were picking cuisines that may not be so easy to find in those cultures. And we would basically just land in a place, make friends with a local, see if we could convince them to let us host the dinner in their house. And we would just arrive in the morning, take over their house and kitchen, kind of improvise in the kitchen, get used to a new kitchen. Kitchens in different countries are so different. I mean, just period, they're different in every home, but they're so different. And it was fun because the hosts would join us in the cooking, and sometimes we didn't even know each other's language, and we were just communicating, and sometimes breaking into impromptu dance parties. It was a lot of fun. And then in the evening, we were ready to welcome these strangers who had signed up. It was always a surprise. Who's going to show up? We don't know, and it was a surprise for them too, because they just signed up on a flyer for a dinner in someone's home. And we just shared food and shared our talents, and it was just such a great way to come together. Now, I mean, it's so wholesome. If this is not life, then what is? And this was all possible because we felt the trust in each other. Now I want to show you my last and my favorite project, VAWAA, Vacation with an Artist. It's my favorite because it embodies everything I want to see in the world. I want to start with a little video, and
Vacation for me is usually an escape from work. Swim in the ocean, lay in the sun, feel the sand. This time I wanted something more. I arrive at Iria's studio. It's a little place in the middle of nowhere in northern Spain. It's like a storybook with clocks and feathers and cute little teacups. I feel like her dog is gonna look up and ask me for the time. We get to work pretty much right away. Then she's like, I have to show you this place. And that turns into another place. It's like a tour of the city, actually, but with a different kind of guide. Iria is always getting ideas. She says her inspiration comes from real life, but also these bizarre dreams that she has. She doesn't even use an alarm clock because she doesn't want to miss anything. Galicia is so beautiful, but my favorite times are definitely in the studio. Using my hands feels natural, even meditative too, and Iria pushes me to go weirder with my ideas. Now that I've experienced this, I don't think vacation has to be a getaway. It's a time to look for something rather than run from something. And who knows? You might find yourself at the ocean, after all.
So VAWAA is the world's first online platform to book mini-apprenticeships with master artists and makers all around the world. So for example, you can fly to northern Vietnam and learn from a leading fashion designer in Hanoi and her team of indigenous women who have been harvesting all kinds of plants for a couple of 100 years to make dyes, to weave yarn, and then turn them into beautiful pieces of textiles. Or you can go to a remote part in Norway, a remote island, and spend a few days learning from master photographer Ole. You can go on mini adventures for photo expeditions on the little islands around there, and then come back to his dad's dark room that he built on his sailboat. Or you can just stay in this country, in the United States, and learn how to make baskets with pine needles, or kudzu, and from an indigenous master, Nancy, who's the granddaughter of a Cherokee woman. So these apprenticeships, well, there are 150 artists around the world in 34 countries, so there's a lot to choose from. And these apprenticeships typically last about 3 to 10 days. So you spend about half a day every day in the studio with the artist, or you might go out to see an exhibition with them, or you might go into the woods to do some sketching, or meet their friends, have lunch together, and then you have the rest of the time free to see the city at your own time. These are all one-on-one apprenticeships, which means it's just you and the artist. Of course, you can go with a friend or family member or your partner. And it's all tailored to your skill level. So you could be a professional and if you want to work on something ambitious or learn advanced techniques, you can do that. Or if you're a beginner, you start with the basics. There are absolutely no age or qualifications required. It's designed for everyone. And our youngest guest was 4 years old, and our oldest was, I believe, 88 years old. And these artists are globally recognized artists. They are multi-generational artisans who've been carrying their heritage craft over the years or emerging talents. For example, Junpei, he is in Kyoto, and he creates pottery inspired by the Jōmon period. This is basically just Neolithic pottery dating back to 10,000 BC to about 350 BC. Or the very well-known women quilters of Gee's Bend, Alabama. Their work is recognized for their visual and cultural contribution as one of the most significant for American history. Or Roberto and Franco, who are marquetry artists in Sorrento. They're one of the top artisans recognized for their Fendi bag. Look at that inlay on that bag. That's insane. Or Fatma, who is in Morocco, reviving the art of Moroccan rug weaving. To our knowledge, they're the only ones who make natural dyes with henna. Or Marjolaine, she's like one of the top felting artists who makes these sculptural forms, very evocative, and lives in a beautiful cabin in Quebec. Or right here in Maine, you can make traditional wooden canvas Atkinson canoes. These are not just artists. They are carrying on the past, imagining the future, and connecting it all to the present, whether it's through materials, techniques, our belief systems, or our values. They have mastered the art of trusting the process, what we call the creative process. And they know how to engage with the inner world and outer world at the same time. It's very alive and dynamic. It's using all our senses. And this is the wisdom we need versus the endless scrolls on our screen. Because when we are in their company, these are the kind of experiences we can have. This is what people have said. Something experiential, finding your own strength and confidence, or being able to push yourself and create something that you've never done. A human experience. Finding something about your loved one during this experience. Or sometimes, even employers, like Adidas, who send their designers as they were getting ready to launch a new product for another market, to build that cultural sensitivity into our work. This is the power of trust, creativity, and human connection. And as a designer, and as a founder, it's kind of magical to see what happens from behind the scenes. The connection that two strangers from across the world experience, they come together to co-create, to exchange their ideas with each other, to share their world with the others. It's very, very powerful. I believe that the next 10 years are going to be about nourishing our soul. And as designers, we have a big responsibility to instill these kind of values in everything we create. And as individuals, I urge you to fear less. Get out there more. Get out of your comfort zone. Create more. Connect more. Try new experiences. Because that's when we will all feel more human, more alive, and at ease. I hope you carry this with you in your daily life. Remember, we have to create a world that's vibrating at its highest level. Because that's when amazing things will happen for all of us. Thank you.
All right, we've got time for some questions. Thank you so much. If folks want to raise their hand, Casey and I are going to run around and grab people. Who is going to be first? There's some up there. I'll be on this side. Just kidding.
Hi there, my name is Shelby. Wanted to ask, what was the process like of launching your company? Like, how did you go from initial idea to finished, complete business?
Well, everything starts with just committing to yourself, just do it. And so, it was an idea brewing in my head for a while, and I took that year-long sabbatical to basically start the project. And the idea was that in every country, I would start finding these artists, because that's the hardest part, is they're really hard to find and access. And so that was the idea, is finding these hidden gems in every country. And on the side, as a designer, I just started building the company name, the website. I just signed up on Squarespace and created the first site, uploaded pictures. And as I was talking to the artists and sharing my idea, it was, getting more details into it. And I think after 6 months or so, I had about 12 artists on the site. And I launched it. I said, I'll just put it out there. And the good thing was I wasn't going in with the idea of starting a business, because that would just like kill me, that pressure. I think I was just trying to get, scratch that itch. I've had this idea and I just want to get something out, and so that's what I did. And I didn't even have payment hooked up. I just put it on Facebook, that time when Facebook was a place we spent some time. And sorry if anyone works at Facebook here. and yeah, that's it. And then next morning, there was a booking, and I didn't even have payment hooked up. So I sent my PayPal, because it was from someone in Austria, and that kind of started the whole process.
Hi, my name's Ankit. I'm going to stay seated because I have a back issue right now. But for people who think that ideas like this that actually involve kind of an expenditure of trust are really romantic and beautiful, but for some reason have something that might be stopping them from actually stepping into it, what would you say to someone who's actually trying to cultivate that trust within themselves?
Yeah, as I said, I think trust comes from first trust within, and then you can go out into the world. So I believe trust comes from when we're connected with our bodies, our mind, soul. So things like making help us connect with that more. All the spiritual stuff that you hear about, like that mind-body connection. So I think first building that trust in your own body, and then you just trust, because your instinct is stronger now. You build that confidence in your own body. Your instinct is stronger. You have more courage to go out. Because I think for trusting you need courage. And courage comes from that confidence. And the confidence comes from when you feel connected in your body. And then once you go out, you interact with others, and then it has a domino effect. So of course it's not very simple, but you just have to keep building those muscles within you.
Geetika, we have a question from the live stream, and the question is from Krista, and the question is, what nourishes your soul?
I think all my work, I think just bringing people together, making things with my hands, and also just right now it's primarily just building VAWAA and seeing all these people going and exploring their ideas and their passions and seeing how their lives are getting changed. But also personally for me, I dance a lot. That nourishes my soul. I cook a lot for people. I like hosting people, I guess. Yeah, all of those things.
Case, I see a question up there.
Can you raise your hand higher so I can see you?
Any questions down here? Let me know.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I find this super fascinating, and I have a couple questions. One is, the slide said you're in 34 countries. How? Do you know people there? And then also, someone asked about trust, but I feel like it's beyond trust, because a lot of these artists come from very marginalized communities and populations. So I feel like there's an extra layer of sensitivity. Did people welcome you in? Did it take convincing? Did it spread by word of mouth? Everything. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, for that year, I just traveled to 12 countries, actually 14, but 12 major countries. So it was just 1 month in every country. And we now have artists in 34 countries. So of course, I've not traveled to all of those 34, but now we've developed a process where we don't have to go there. A lot of the artists apply through our site, and we've built kind of a different process because it wouldn't be scalable. And I still travel to a lot of different countries to find these artists. And I think to your question about those sensitivities, I think that's what I was saying. When you connect more with people, you again build that muscle to listen to other people, to understand where they're coming from, leaving your own judgment and biases behind. And then once you have those conversations, they feel more open, they can trust you more, and then they lean more into it as well. So it's about creating that environment for the other person also to lean into it. And it's, of course, not everyone's going to lean into it, so not all the artists sign up for something like this. I think artists who share similar values, who find the benefit of this exchange of ideas, I think they find a lot of inspiration from that for their own creative process, because as an artist, it's actually a very lonely process. You're just in your studio making things. So, that's why travel is such a big part of a lot of artists' life. That's where you draw inspiration. So yeah, I guess that's it's the values that we've created in the company. It's how we lead. We don't dictate anything. We're just there to support them. We don't dictate their prices. We don't tell them this is how you do it. We're just there to guide. And I think they see that. That's how we build trust with them. And then they do what they do best. I hope that was your question, right? Thanks.
Geetika, I actually have a question for you. First off, I just want to say you are a magical creature. Seriously. I have so much respect for what you've built. And I'm just wondering, because I think you strike me a bit like me, that we're not really good in asking for help. What can this community do to support you and VAWAA?
Well, go on to VAWAA, tell about VAWAA to everyone. Go to our website, VAWAA.com. And if you know employers, or if you're a manager and you're wanting to send your, team members to go out into the world and get inspired, have them email me.
Okay, we've got Lenny. Cool. Question down here.
Hi, Geetika. A question about just logistically, how does language barrier, right? When you go to these different countries, not knowing the language, how does that work when you're attending a VAWAA?
Yeah. Well, the best part is a lot of these are visual arts, and visual art is a universal language. So there's a lot of communication that just happens just by looking, gestures, and just trying to understand each other. But also, we live in a world of Google Translate. How amazing is technology? So yeah, a little bit of that. And I think it's mostly from our own eagerness to learn and wanting to communicate. And it's amazing all the things that can happen. I think I've traveled to so many countries where I didn't know a word. I've spoken to strangers for an hour, thinking I'm understanding everything. And I think they're also thinking they're understanding everything, but we have had a full 1 hour long conversation. We don't know if what we know is what they were saying, but we had a 1 hour conversation.
All right, we've got one more right over here.
I'm curious about your textile you're wearing. I feel like there has to be a story there.
Well, it's Rent the Runway. Not much of a story there. Thank you.
Yeah. I just love this woman so much. People like her that build human connection in such a thoughtful way, I really feel like she's a treasure.
Our 30-second pictures up. So if I called your name at the beginning, please come this way. If I didn't call your name, a lot of your incredible submissions were for projects or a book that you made. We invite you to apply for August 2nd when we're doing New York is Creative, where you'll have 90 fun seconds to talk about your project. So 30-second pictures, come on up. In the meantime, let's give one more round of applause for Geetika, because she was amazing. And let's start with Kyle. And if 30-second pictures, just find me after.
Great. Hey, everybody. Good morning. So my name is Kyle Myers, and I'm a product manager. I'm looking for a new role. I love asking hard questions and solving ambiguous problems. the best professional compliment I ever received was that I'm so good at just diving into a new area and just learning about it and running with it. I've worked on many different products, including B2B SaaS for small and medium businesses, consumer devices, and MP3 players, which they still do sell in 2024. And if you're looking for a product manager, or you are a Carnegie Mellon or Ohio State alum, I'd love to chat with you after. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Katie. I do have a last name. It's Freeman. And I'm really, really, really anxious, but I'm trusting all of you to be kind. Thank you. And we'll see if I faint. I am a book publicist and I work with arts organizations, and what I'd really like to build in the future is a building that has space for arts nonprofits to have meeting space, but to share like operations costs and things along those lines. A library, a space for writers to work. I work primarily in the literary arts, and a space for gathering. So a kitchen, a place for pop-up meals, for other types of events, other types of creative comings together, and that the top part of the building would be for housing. So some would be housing for writers in exile who are coming to this country from other places, some for artists, writers especially, for affordable living. So a building along that size. So if you have any ideas about that, or like $100 million or more, that would be great. We have a space in Dumbo right now, so also if you want to come see it, it's tiny, it's small, but there's a nice library. I'm Katie at CentoLit, CENTO.lit. That's actually not at all what my email address is. I'm just going to start over. It's katie@centolit.com, and we'll have a website at some point. But yeah, if you have any ideas in that vein and can help us create a building, that would be fantastic. And I want to end by saying I also got in a car with a stranger in a country where I didn't speak the language, and it ended in a dance party. So.
Jillian next, and just a reminder, we're going to email this information out to everybody, so you don't have to jot anything down. This is one of our fabulous club hosts, by the way.
Okay, quick plug, come to Sun Your Buns. Next one's like August 3rd, I think. Okay, well, hi, I'm Jillian. I'm a mentor with the Bridge program this summer. It's a nonprofit for young photographers to gain industry experience. At the end of the program, we're going to be doing a big group show with all the projects that they're currently working on, which are really cool. One guy is going to Guyana to photograph his first ever family reunion, and it's just going to be, all of them are just so beautiful. But our gallery space just dropped out 2 days ago. So if you know of a space, the group show is in October. We need about 1,000 square feet. Doesn't have to be a gallery or studio, we just need wall space. So if you know anywhere, let me know. Thanks.
Hello. Hi. Hi, I'm India. I'm from Sydney, Australia, but I live in London and I'm here for New York for 2 months. I literally heard about this 2 days ago, so, I'm happy to be here. But I just want to say that everybody has a food story, and I feel that we're all a part of one communal food story, which is why I started my business, Communi.table, 4 months ago. It's where, back in London, I host long table lunches that celebrate community, nourishment, seasonality, connection to soil, connection to the source. And I love to gather strangers and friends around a table, around food. And I really believe that our food system fuels so many climate and social injustices, but it's also a solution-rich space and a place that I find really inspiring. And so I feel like by supporting and inviting seasonality, locality, and presenting it in the most joyous form, which is eating really good food, I just feel that it really connects people to that story. So any artists, collaborators, venues, marketers are maybe thinking about trying to host one here. But yeah, life starts around the table and it ends around the table, so let's gather around that table.
Thank you to all of you brave 30-second pictures. I want to say a quick thank you to all of our volunteers. Without them, these events would not run as smoothly as they do. So thank you, Angelica, Amanda, Brian, Casey, Celestine, Daniel. Ella, Emily, Esmerides, Evelyn, Exa, Krista, Leah, M, Maria, Samantha, Ariana, Romaine, and Cece and Sky. Wonderful volunteers. And thanks to Nelson, who runs the wonderful Photograpals Club. You can see how good you look. And thanks to Amin and Hani, you can see the video afterwards. And then thanks to these fine folks, you can see the live stream, and Kevin, Eleanor, Geronimo, and Matthew. And all of these folks are for hire. They're reliable. They're super kind. They're fun to hang out with. Hire them. And then, by raise of hands, who has a friend in Savannah? Wow. One. I'm holding on to you. No, two. Please text them and tell them that Creative Mornings is coming to Savannah. There's a wonderful host launching a new chapter. And launching a new chapter is hard work. And so far, we have 6 people signed up for next week's event. I just really want to help Luke. Luke is awesome. So if you know anyone in Savannah, please tell them to look up the chapter and make Luke's day by signing up. And then don't forget, August 2nd, New York is Creative. Tell us about your creative project. And before I forget to tell you, because oftentimes I forget, there's coffee and pastries on your way out. If you want another dose of coffee, please go and help yourself. And now I want to end with a quote. The best way to find out if you can trust someone is to trust them. Ernest Hemingway. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Alliance. See you next month.